I want to dive into the fact that mindset matters. Authenticity over cheerleading. I say it again. Authenticity over cheerleading. I want you, the consistency coach, to share with me and the people in
The
all
people.
the land what is meant by mindset.
You see what the mindset coach did to the consistency coach? But you know what? I accept the challenge. Um, what is meant by mindset? So if you look at this is a compound word. There's mind and then there is set. So when I look at mindset, I look at the set as a bunch of different things um that the mind controls, right? So the mind controls our relationships, friendships, how we think about how our mind thinks about information is determines our mindset, right? So I believe that what is meant by mindset is I don't want to repeat myself. What is meant by mindset is your mind's what your mind controls or what your mind chooses to give. No, how your mind reacts to things or how your mind um gets no not get information. I had it and then I
That's
switched
all right.
off.
You're good.
um so in the mind, right, this is the mind. I gotta break it down in Scooby-Doo terms. For me, this is the mind up here. There's a whole bunch of different things in here. So my mindset when it comes to um how I think about my health determines how I act. It determines how much I work out. It determines what I eat. So my mindset about health determines how I act when it comes to the performance and just how my body reacts in life. My mindset when it comes to my spirituality determines how I am with my spirituality. Do I read my Bible? Do I spend time with the Father? How do I treat people? All of these different things right here. So if my mindset when it comes to my spirituality is trash, then what I portray into the world is going to be trash. My mindset when it comes to my health, if it's trash, then my body is going to be trash as well. And this goes with everything. So our mindset determines how we are portrayed and how we are kind of sort of as a people, how we think about certain things, all of these different things. If your thinking is stinking, if your mindset is bad, you're going to have some bad things that come with that. If your mindset is good, now I will say that mindset is different. I think that there's an overall mindset, and then I think that mindset is also broken down to individual tasks and individual um ways that we are as a people. Like we're not one dimensional. You know what I mean? If coach votes a certain way, I don't write coach off because he voted this way. Coach is he's a whole bunch of different things besides just who he decides to vote for. You know what I'm saying? So I think the mindset is these little pockets and a big umbrella, and they all kind of determine who we are and how we function and move in life. Long-winded, think I'm on it.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. I got you.
But I know the mindset coach, ladies and gentlemen. He
uh,
is the man. So he is the mindset coach. So I am took me a little bit longer because I'm over here worried about what you got to say. So
don't worry about
over
what
to
I got to
you.
say,
I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready. I'm worried about it. Because
man.
the thing about it too, I can also go back and watch the video. So with that being said, folks, if y'all please don't feel shy, go ahead and share this video with somebody, especially this part. And if you're watching, you better grab your notepad, folks.
So I am just a man. I will say that for starters. Um, I think I look at mindset differently than most people. Let me kind of explain what it is first, just in its entirety, and then how it works. This is my mindset. This is my brain. My mindset and my brain is not the same thing. That was one of the most important things that I had to learn because in the beginning, I thought my mindset was my brain. So if I change my brain, I change my mind. No, your mindset is the entirety of your being. So when you look at it from that perspective, it is the way that it is a set of, I gotta say it, it is a set of, I will call them valves, triggers, if you will. And it allows you to ingest, deflect, accept, process, and emote information. So what does that really mean? Well, remember, this is the entirety of my being. This is my mindset, all of this, right? So now this thing is broken down into a conscious and a subconscious mindset. So the conscious mindset is where information filters in. I get to accept, reject, and neglect that information regardless of what it is. So you can come to me talking about, and to your point, you can come to me talking about, hey man, I want to go hunting. Reject automatically. Right.
Automatically.
Automatic rejection. That's not me. I don't want to talk about that. I'm sorry. I got other stuff I need to worry about. But you can come to me and say, hey, can we talk about finances? Blah, 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 blah. Yep, let's go. All about it. Let's have that. So I get to accept, reject, and neglect information from my conscious mindset.
Mm.
As I accept that information, the more information that's in line with it, it then filters into my subconscious. My subconscious does not have a reject valve. It is automatic reception. It is automatic acceptance. So now understanding the conscious mind feeds the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is where I actually process deep-seated emotions, intuition, all these other things exist. So now when something happens in the atmosphere, depending upon how it's perceived by me, it triggers an emotion. Now, that emotion can come out as raw emotion or it can come out as regulated emotion. That depends on how much I've gotten to the point of managing my emotions. Now, let's back up because mindset now looks different. I look at mindset like a thermostat. In the beginning, your mind was set. Your parents controlled the thermostat. As you got older, you could go back and adjust your thermostat. Once you adjust your thermostat, now it triggers your AC to come on. Well, at a certain point, it goes off because it achieved this objective. But when the temperature drops too low, it automatically kicks in because it is set. The word mindset, in my opinion, puts us in the wrong mindset. But if we look at it as a set mind, now I can set the parameters of my mind, which now orchestrate the direction of my life. Now, if you heard what I just said, you heard what I just said. I can set the parameters of my mind, which now orchestrate the direction of my life. So now, when it comes down to these positive affirmations, since that's what we're talking today, I'm not given an affirmation that I have not done the work to mentally, emotionally, and psychologically support. Because not only do I believe I'm the person that can achieve this affirmation, but I can see myself achieving this affirmation. And I emotionalize the accomplishment of that affirmation before I even start the pursuit. So I set the conditions for my mind in the beginning. Now, here's the funny part about it. I know I just said a lot, and y'all can rewind, fast forward, rewind, fast forward, but there's still an application piece to it. And all of that, what I just said, is very difficult to actually apply just by listening to. So that's why I'm saying it's going to take a little while to explain what mindset is because I haven't even talked presets, and presets are very important when it comes down to mindset. I haven't even talked percepts, right, or precept. So it's a lot of other things that go into it, but I just leave it at that because I think just that little bit I just said kind of gave somebody a deeper understanding of what mindset is.
Definitely did for me. And I don't know if it was preset or some other word you just said, but I wrote down doing the work before the affirmation. And I think that's important. A lot of times, not a lot of times, I won't say a lot of times. I see stuff online or on, certain social media platforms and they say, hey, your daily affirmation. And it may be whatever it may be, but it's like, you know, I understand, depending on maybe where you're at in your journey or whatever that may be a start for you, but if you just grabbing affirmations out of the air and they're not really thought out, are you really, are they really applicable to your life? Are they really something that you're going to actually carry out, good or bad? And so like doing the work to kind of figure out what affirmation, who I am can even support. I think that was very key for me. I'm not a big affirmation guy where I don't do affirmations. Um, I understand them. I believe in a creed, so I personally have a creed that I live by that I created based off of values and different things like that, and that's how I live. And my creed has a lot of biblical principles that are the baseline of a lot of my creed. So the principles. So again, I get affirmations, but
Mhm.
not against them at all. I think that there's a place for them, especially when there's some work that's attached to them. I think I can't really think of an affirmation right now that don't require any type of work. Even you say, "Hey, I'm gonna be positive today. I'm gonna just be more positive. I'm not going to say anything negative." Well, that requires you to literally think about every word that comes out of your mouth all day long. So, I can't really
No,
think of a word that
it doesn't
huh,
end there. It doesn't end there.
isn't in there.
No.
Yep,
It's not just every word that comes out of your mouth, it's every
yep.
thought that you have.
An interaction.
What the thoughts first,
Yeah,
because
the thought first.
because
Yeah.
the thought becomes the foundation of everything that happens next. For
Mhm.
every word you speak, you thought
Yep.
about it first. For every
Mhm.
interaction you have, you actually thought about it first. So, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just saying,
No, no, no.
like, to your point, and I stress this, like, you gotta pull the weeds out your garden. If you don't
Mhm.
pull the weeds out your garden, then it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go plant more seed because the weeds are gonna choke it out. So you'll be the person say, "Oh, well, I'm positive. I don't want no negativity around me." But
Mhm.
then it's like, "Don't let them haters" wait, stop. Don't even go
Mhm.
no further.
Yep.
When the word hater come out your mouth, you ain't
Yep.
as positive as you thought you are. That is a lie.
Mhm.
So if I'm t if my initial thought is on haters, if my initial thought is like clapping back at somebody because of their posture, like you're not as positive as you think you are. And that's not
Mhm.
a bad thing. Like somebody heard that and said, "Oh, well, he just said," no, stop. That's part of what I'm talking about. The fact that you
Mhm.
can hear what I'm saying and then automatically draw a negative perception. Stop. That's part of the problem. Positive affirmations or positivity simply means that I have a foundational system that can support holistic positivity, regardless of what's going on outside of me. So it
Mhm.
does not matter what someone says about me over there. To God be the glory, right?
Yep.
Can you hear what I'm saying? Cool. To God be the glory. You can't
Uh-huh.
understand what you're saying. You don't think what I'm saying. You don't think what I'm saying is true. To God be the glory. Like I
Mhm.
don't have to respond. That's the
Yeah.
thing. So it's like, it's this thing here. Not so much as this, because this will lie to you. This can't lie to you. And here's the thing I always say, you got to tell yourself the truth before you can tell anybody else the truth. So if you're lying to yourself about a positive affirmation, soon as you put it out in the atmosphere, you're automatically lying. You have to do the internal work so that you can pull out all of those weeds so that now when it comes down to anything, I affirm. Yes, I did say anything. That includes the Bible. When it comes down to anything I affirm, I actually believe it. Hey man, I
Bro,
think
bro.
I think I reached my limit for the night.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not if we keep going like this.
So to the point of what we're talking about, if we dropped all the positive fluff, get it all off the table, and just be raw,
Mhm.
as they would say, butt naked, raw.
Mhm.
What truth is would be left? And I'm not talking you specifically, right?
Mhm.
I'm talking about like some truths that people will encounter. What truth would be left to be exposed?
Well, since you want to go there, the naked truth. At the end of the day, when you cut out all the fluff, what you get is what you see. It ain't nothing else out there. I remember when we used to write them NCOERs when we was in the military, right? Every year, when you become a leader, you get an NCOER. And sometimes them jokers would come back and they'd be like, man, don't put all that fluff in there. Like, say exactly what it is, the raw truth. Oh, well, Mr. Son Martin, you know, was a whole bunch of nice words and yada yada yada, and got his platoon to Iraq and back and blah 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 blah. Like, just be, I don't know. That may be that's a bad analogy. But I guess the part about writing the NCORs and writing those things is that one of the things they talked about was being specific and not just making it fluff. Because when you have fluff in there, it's like, man, when I see fluff, it looks like lies, right? It looks like it's not the truth because if it's the truth, it don't need the fluff. The
Mhm.
truth can stand on its own. It don't need the fluff. If I got a 300 on the APFT, then I got a 300. I don't need no fluff. If I got 40 out of 40, the information speaks for itself. So the data is the data. The truth is the truth. When you expose all of the fluff, what raw truth would be left exposed is just the naked truth. That's it. It ain't nothing else out there. You can't go left, you can't go right. It is what it is. So I get the fluff, but I don't get the fluff. I don't want the fluff. Coach tell me something, I want the raw truth. I don't want him scooting around it or beating around the bush. Just be direct with me and tell me the truth. And I think where I'm at in my place right now, and I can accept it. I think for the most place, been in the military, I've always been able to accept it. Maybe because where I grew up, maybe in the military, you've always had people that's going to tell you exactly how it is. But I've always been exposed to people telling me the truth,
Yeah.
so it ain't an issue for me. But I know some people, they do not want the truth. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And I know that ain't the question, but
Hmm. Yeah,
that's where that's where I think.
no, that's the question. I will also say, look at this is I'm gonna give everybody a hint real quick.
Mhm.
Anytime, anytime, anytime you have an
Any
automatic response, it ain't true.
mm,
It ain't true. I give you a perfect example. How you doing, bro?
good.
See, that ain't true. Because, and here's what I mean: the holistic aspect might equate to good, but
Mhm.
does that really tell me how he's doing? No, it doesn't.
Nope.
Right? Just good. Okay,
Told
that's
you before the show.
right. Exactly. But I did this. I did that intentionally.
Yeah.
You did it. You answered perfectly. But
Yeah.
that's how we're wired. We're
Mhm.
wired for automatic responses. Why? Because it actually portrays the best version of myself right now. And I don't really want to tell you the truth if you really ask. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Men are, listen, men are guilty with it. We are riddled with it. We
All
don't
the
want
time.
the world to know how we really feel because we don't think the world cares anyway. So when you ask me what's wrong, my immediate response is nothing. That is a lie. I'm telling you right now, if care enough to get beyond the nothing, women, I'm telling you right now how to tap into the emotional side of your husband. Care enough to bypass the nothing. If he says nothing, listen to him, accept it, but then at a later point in time, let him know that it's okay. You don't have to mask it behind nothing. I care. I'm I'm telling you.
I know he wasn't done, but he said, "Women, I got you." I told you he was not done, folks. I told you he was not done. Right after that, he done dropped another nugget right for y'all women. Y'all, bro, if y'all ain't hit that like button and share it right now, y'all wrong.
I'm 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 telling you, like, try it.
Cheat code.
Automatic responses 9 times out of 10 are mostly lies. It is the thing that we want to tell you so you can stop asking me questions. Because if I give you, I'm sorry.
Mm, mm,
I'm laying on the ground. I'm putting it
mhm.
all out there, bro.
You
And
are.
full grown man, he ain't reject one word I said yet.
Yep.
I'm telling you. And I'm saying we are guilty with it, but I know I'm saying we are because I'm not a woman, so I can't speak for a woman, but I can
Mhm,
definitely speak for men. But I'm almost certain that women have automatic responses that to where they just give them too because they don't
mhm,
really think that other people care about what the details behind this is. And in some cases, both of us might be right. We know that my spouse, my significant other, whatever, don't really care about the details about this thing because they probably already told me. But did you make that part up? Because I use me for an example. Y'all hear me say all the time, I don't care about your job. I'm adamant about that. I
mhm,
don't care about the job. I care about you at the job. So if something happened to you at the job, that's not the same thing as me saying I don't care about your job. You see what I'm saying? And
mhm.
you can tell me if my interpretation of my perception is wrong, which I know
No,
you
I
can't.
get it. I
But
get
I'm
it.
but does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
And of course it does to you because
Yeah.
you a man,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, make
right?
yeah, it
And
makes
so I
sense.
think it's important for us to say things like that, right? Because again, you can hear a thing, both men and women, we all do it. We all
Mhm,
guilty of it. We hear a thing and we say, "Oh, this is what that means." No, it
mhm.
meant this right here.
Yeah.
Don't move it. No, don't turn it into a canopy. No, leave it
Mhm.
right here because
Yep.
that's what I said it at. Anytime an automatic response is given, stop and think. Is that what I really mean? Or if I'm honest with this person, will it really expose me? If you do that and you're honest with yourself, now you're starting to get out of the positivity fluff and you're getting the honest version of you.
Mm. Yep. And then and here's the thing about this. Sometimes when you tell the truth, sometimes we do it because we don't want to have more conversation too. You know what I
Right.
mean? I know if I were like, "Dang, coach, man, I done had a rough day." I know we will sit backstage and stall the show for as long as we need to get through whatever it is I need to get through. You know what I mean? So sometimes we say that but like coach said, it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's for a good reason. But I will say that I have learned at my, at my level of maturity now to sometimes that it's okay to in certain situations around certain people to say, you know what, brother, I ain't okay. You
Mhm.
know what, coach, when coach like, "Hey, you good, Nope, I ain't. I ain't sleep good last night." You know what I mean? I was up for 3.5 hours, and then, I'm a little groggy right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. You know what I mean? So now coach know that he may have to carry the show a little bit more because Unc a little groggy. But that's why, I'm just saying, but it is what it is, so and when you're tapped into one of your brothers, and you can do that, and it goes back to earlier, with the best friend conversation and being able to have that space to be able to have that raw truth and stuff like that. So man, like I said, man, I'm enjoying this one. I'm enjoying this conversation. I enjoyed all the nuggets I didn't got today. You know what I'm saying? So the ladies got a real good fat one at the end too, not too long ago.
Yeah, man. I think that's important for us to unpack because I think our version of positivity, I don't think I say it this way. I don't think for the most part, when you look at the population as a whole, I don't think the population as a whole can say that their perception of positivity was achieved in their own mind. So I think for me, the only thing that's left is that positivity has failed to a certain degree. And I think it requires us to it requires us to get real, get honest with ourselves, right? We are wired. to notice negative. Like pay attention. And if you pay attention to like the news media and things of that nature, they're force feeding the negative narrative because they know that the human mind is wired for negative. Why is that the case? Because the human mind is wired for survival. That's ultimately what it is. So if I can show you something, your automatic thought is that number one, oh, that's not here, or what do I need to do to prevent that from getting to me? That's just how our minds work. So the inner critic in me, which most of it is handed down, like I said before, from culture, parents, or even peers, like all of them shape the echoes bouncing around in our heads. And so ultimately, unhealed wounds, right? Part of that becomes a narrative. And it just ultimately become the loudest thing that I speak. So Eckhart Tolle said that you are not your thoughts. You are the thinker who observes them. I'll say it again. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker who observes them. So,
Like
what
that.
if our negative self talk isn't the problem, but actually a protective mechanism? Is our negative self talk actually protecting us from risking something real?
Man, I gotta really think about this one. 'Cause I haven't, to my knowledge right now, used a lot of negative self-talks. I'm trying to dig a little bit, I probably can think of a couple things right now. Well, I can't think of a couple of things right now. Let me read this question again. Is our negative self-talk actually protecting us from risking something real? Man, on the surface, I'm gonna say I don't see how being negative can be protecting. Um, so I'm gonna start with there. Is our negative self-talk actually protecting us from risking something real? I'm gonna say no. Um, we're looking at something real. Let's say a relationship,
Sure.
right? Young. A young man. He won't deal with a certain woman or whatever like that, right? But he may feel a certain way about himself. So he's like, man, I don't know if I can really get her. She kind of fine. She got the little body. She got green eyes. Whatever it is, how he like it. You know what I mean? How he like the woman. He don't really feel like he can really approach her. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Well, actually, I'm gonna go. Yes, it is protecting him from risking something real because if he if he don't approach the young lady, right? He don't have to worry about being rejected. There's no risk there if I don't approach her, right? So this negative self-talk has kept me from being rejected. On the other hand, what if I go talk to her, the young man that talks to her, and she says yes?
Mhm.
So on that sense, his negative self-talk is protecting him from risking something that could actually be real, because that could be a real relationship. That could be his wife one day. That could be the mother of his children. So I see it both ways. I don't know. Um, if I could predict the outcome, I see it both ways. I'm saying no, then now I'm saying yeah, but now I'm bouncing back and forth with the no. Um, but I will say, yep, the negative self-talk is protecting us. Is our negative self-talk protecting us from risking something real? Yes. Yes, my final answer.
All right. I like both of your answers, actually. No, I'm serious when I say that.
Yeah.
Because here's the catch, and we're probably gonna spend less time on this one for the sake of time, because I
Mhm.
honestly did not see the time, to be honest with you.
Hey, it is what it is.
Um, Initially, what if our negative self-talk isn't the problem, but actually a protective mechanism? It is. Your negative self-talk is a protective mechanism because it is designed to protect you. Your negative self talk comes from the thinker that is in you. So every time I say something negative, it is protecting something about me. I'll say it again. It is protecting something about me. Now, going back to your analogy, is our negative self talk actually protecting us from risking something real? You said yes. I
Mhm.
wanted to ask you, what is the something real? And you said the potential of her becoming his wife at a future date, right?
Mhm.
So I do like that. And I'm going to change it just a little bit because I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. What you're saying is
Mhm.
absolutely right. But I will say it like this: our negative self talk is protecting us from risking our ego in that moment if she says no.
Mm.
So me having that negative talk, which says, "Oh, she ain't gonna talk to me. I'm too dark skinned. I'm too short. I'm too fat. I'm too this." Right? That's what ends up happening. And
Mhm.
so the thinker that's in you is giving you the thoughts, and the thoughts are giving you the words, and that's whether you say them out loud or whether it's bouncing around in your head. And those words are moving you to inactivity because you don't want the negative outcome. So again, we said protecting,
Mhm.
right? Protecting a protective mechanism. We never said the protection was good, right?
Yeah.
We just said it was a protective mechanism.
Mhm.
Your brain is wired for safety. It will always protect. Here's the key though. It protects the version of you that you perceive to be reality. It will
Mm.
never protect the version of you that's waiting for you in the future. So, in order to get to the version of you that's waiting for you in the future, you're going to have to sacrifice the version of you in this reality. That's the key. In order for you to get to the version of you that's waiting for you in the future, you're going to have to sacrifice the version of you that is in this reality. That's why I keep saying your experiences are not reality, it's just your perception of reality. And until you get that part, you're going to fight for who you are today in this current time. And you're surprised because this time next year, you look the exact same way you did last year. And you don't know why. I just told you.
Mm. We rename this show the Nugget Show. Dang, the Nugget Show. That's what this is. Man,
I
I don't know.
mean,
I've been enjoying this one, man.
so
I
this
don't,
kind of, huh?
go ahead. I'm kind of speechless right now, man.
This is,
I'm in absorb mode right now. I'm absorbing this in.
me too. Me too. I'm gonna say that because this
Mm,
is, I love having these kind of talks. Because again, there is an endless um array of possibilities when you really stop and think about it.
mhm,
So we talked about mindset previously, and I think it's important that we understand mindset is just that important. But you don't kill negative thoughts, right? You understand the law of energy. And when you understand the law of energy, that takes you back to the Newton's law of energy, right? And you understand that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So you don't kill negative thoughts, you transform them by introducing neutral or believable new lines. Until we start talking new lines, we're talking newer pathways, and neural pathways is in essence a branch of thinking, right? So this takes time, but every rep counts. So what you have to do is leave space in your thinking for terms like maybe, or terms or phrases like I'm open to. And so Dr. Wayne Dyer, my cousin, y'all. No, I'm joking. He is not my cousin. Dyer and Dwyer is not the same. I'm just joking when I say that. Um, he said, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Right? Everybody's heard that. We've said that on
yeah,
several different occasions, and we know it to be true because even in the midst of conversation, all it takes is one different perspective, and it can help you change the way you look at the thing.
yeah.
So
Fact.
when our affirmations finally work,
Mhm.
will we have to let go of the old part of ourselves, or let
Mm.
go of an old part of ourselves?
I I think in a sense whether you call it let go or evolve or whatever. um I think if the affirmation I think if the affirmation is there to in its intent to change or to grow, then I think sometimes you have to let that go. So when I was talking earlier about the affirmation and I was talking about hunting, hey, I'm gonna get up and not gonna hunt no more, right? Then we talked about actually dealing with the hunting, right? Then now where I'm at in my life right now, it's a part of who I am. That affirmation, along with application, allowed Unc to be where he is right now today. So that is an old part of me. So for me, when it came to hunting, that's a part of my life or part of who I was that I had to let go, that I have let go. Now, there are other parts of my life. I will say this. I have let it go. However, comma, no, pause. I have letting it go. There are other things in my life where there may have been affirmations and, to be kinder, right? To not be as rude to people, to say please and thank you, to use my manners, these different things. I think those at the same time, not necessarily that they're an old part of myself, but more so that I've just kind of evolved in those areas, whereas, and then because sometimes it depends on what space I'm in and how I may um, talk to somebody as well. You know what I'm saying? So I may be in a situation and we may end up both be raising our voices to, past a normal level. And that may be okay. So I still may tap into some of those things sometimes, even though I may kind of sort of be changed. Um, but I think I don't stay there long. But I think I'm gonna sum it up real quick. When our affirmations finally work, will we have to let go of an old part of ourselves? For right now, I am going to choose a side because I want to know what you say, and I just want to stick with it. And I'm okay if my mind changes. Um, but for right now, because it's the first time I'm saying this question, ever really thought about it, I'm going to say that yes, we have to let go of an old part of ourselves, and that is based off of my hunting analogy.
So, yeah, I started smiling when I asked the question in the beginning because I gave my
Uh-huh.
answer already.
Oh yeah.
Remember, remember I said, remember I said, there's the version of yourself in the future, and then
Mm-hmm.
the person who you are right now,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually you're going to have to let go of this version
Mm.
of yourself for the yeah. That
Oh,
was
okay.
that was my answer, and I started smiling at her like, man, I forgot about that. So
Mm.
yeah, the answer to me is yes, but I think it goes a step further. Just one extra step this time. Um, there are aspects of myself that I am willing to let go. Those aren't the ones that's preventing me to get into the future. The aspects of myself that I'm trying to take with me, those are the ones that are making it difficult for me to get to the future because I don't want to part ways with this version of myself. But the future says, this is who I'm calling you to be. But you're like, well, wait, this is what I want to take with me. No,
Mm.
go back and I'm gonna use this analogy.
That's a big
And this
step.
is it is a big step. I
Mm.
use this analogy and I get off of it. In the Bible, Abraham was told to leave his family and everything behind and go to a land which I will show you. He had no idea where he was going. So he had to leave all of his family. Take his family to who he was told to take, but leave everybody behind and go to a new land. And I think sometimes we struggle with that because we have a lot of familiarity that we want to take with us into the promised land. But that promised land wasn't meant for them. That promised land was meant for you. And when I say that promised land, I believe wholeheartedly that everybody has a promised land that they're called to. And in order to get there, there's a version of you that you want to bring that you cannot bring. It's
Mm,
just my thoughts.
that's that's a little deeper than that's a little deeper than what I thought when you said you was going one step. I think that's a big struggle. And I think for a lot of people, because when we say, "Hey, I want to do the right thing, but I want to keep doing this too." You know what I mean? Like we talked about the hunting in the marriage. You can't bring that over into your marriage. You know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta let that stuff go. And I think sometimes people try to bring their hunting mindset into their marriage. They haven't got, I don't know why it's just an easy, whatever it may be. When you're trying to change in your life, but you still trying to bring, even with people, you know what I mean? Sometimes we're in a new space in our life and everybody can't go. Everybody is not meant to take every step of the journey with you. Some of y'all may just be here for a season, and that's okay. Especially if you really trying to get to a certain place and you're one of those people and you're doing affirmations and now it's time to do the work in the application. And part of the application, you read something in your principles that talk about, not being around certain people, how you're supposed to look different than the world. But I still want to do what I want to do. Like, look, you're supposed to look different than the world, but you still want to do. I don't want to step on nobody's toes. Let me stop before they start calling the 555 number. And
I mean, I think you stepped on
yes,
their toes and you did that dance just now, though. That's all I'm
I
saying.
may have. Yeah,
I
because I see it. You know
yeah,
what I mean? People want to, and I never thought about it. People want to change. I've been one of those people who
yeah,
want to change and want to do better in life. And you think that, hey, I can bring this over here and then I can manage it. But the reality of it is, if you're not supposed to have it in there, it's only a matter of time where it's not going to be managed and it's going to get messed up and screwed up anyway. You
that's
may
true.
find yourself in a worse situation. So if it's not meant to go forward with you, you better leave it there.
Yeah. I got another section real quick, and you'll be
Okay.
happy to hear that this section here is all about. It's a rhetorical question, so one you don't
Mm.
have to answer. I think there has to be a process. I know a lot of us like to talk about being innovative, and a lot of people believe that innovative and thinking outside the box is the exact same thing, but that's not always 100% true. You can be innovative while thinking inside the box, but the other side to it is that it requires somebody else to kind of challenge what it is I'm thinking. So it's not really me thinking inside my box now, it's us thinking outside the box. So it has to incorporate more than one person. And so when affirmations are practiced and they become automatic, big things can potentially change. Um, One of the big things that
Oh,
you change is like your choices. Your choices tend to change and your sense of self tends to change. And, let's just be completely transparent. You was talking about it just now, like your circle will change. So the question that I will ask is really two rhetorical questions, really. The question that I will ask everyone, and you can write this down. And if you don't get it because I talk fast, you're welcome to hit the rewind button and catch it again. Are you prepared for who you become and how others will react? Now, that can be a very strong question to ask yourself because most of us don't think beyond today. But I leave this quote with you, which comes from Aristotle. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And so, if that is the case, that means that every person under the sound of my voice has to observe your own habits and start looking at habit change. So, the second rhetorical question that I have for you is when our confidence grows, who in your life will support it and who might feel threatened? Now, again, it is a rhetorical question. It's not one that you have to put the answer to down to. It's not even one I'm gonna ask the consistency coach over here because I don't want to put him under that level of stress or pressure. But I
you
do
don't
have
bother me. I answer it.
I understand, but I don't want you to. I don't want you to in this form
Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you.
because somebody might get their feelings hurt thinking if you ask the
They
question.
will get their feelings hurt.
But I do have this question. And this one's is simple. This is a true false question. And by all means, I want you guys in the chat to answer in the comments to answer this too. A properly postured positive affirmation reinforce societal scripts. I say it again. A properly postured positive affirmation reinforces societal scripts. True or false?
I'm gonna say false.
I would say you're accurate,
I'm
sir.
gonna say false.
And just being totally transparent.
Mm-hmm.
It also depends on which society we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because if I'm talking kingdom society, then it reinforces that all day long. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking a worldly society, then no, it does not. So I just wanted to put that out
Yeah.
there. Look at man, I thought this was a phenomenal conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You want to give the people some final thoughts real quick?
Man, let's do it, man.
All right, hold on. Let me. Hold on. We ain't done this in a while, so
Yeah, let's do it.
I got to see all the goodness. So
Mhm.
y'all get ready for this bittersweet moment. We call them
Yeah.
our actional advice. Me and you.
Me, blow me up.
All right, there you go.
So today we've been talking about the hidden power of positive affirmations. I will start by, with my actionable advice saying that I'm not a big person. I don't wake up and do positive affirmations. What I do is I live by a creed. It's a creed that I created myself, and it's what I live by, and that works for me. I will say that, if you are a person and you believe in positive affirmations, there's nothing wrong with it. I believe that anything that you do in your life, for the most part, as long as you're not hurting anybody, that works to make you grow and be better as a person, then you're not going to get any pushback from me. I will say, however, though, that if you are practicing affirmations, then two things from the show that I think that you should add to that is, one, think about the affirmation and think about where it came from, the origin of the affirmation and why you have the affirmation, and making sure and think about the process that goes into creating an affirmation. Why regardless of where you at, this is just a starting point. Regardless of where you're at, if you're a person, hey, I wake up and I do my affirmation. So go back and think about, okay, where does this affirmation start? Right. And if you a person who currently not practicing affirmation and you would like to start, then this is where I think you should start, is think about part three-step process. Part one is to think about, why you need an affirmation and dig deep on what affirmations should be applicable to your life. And then next is to do the affirmation piece, wherever that is, and you decide in your daily life when you're going to say this affirmation or whatever. It's going to be daily, hourly, weekly. Are you going to have alarm go off, set off on your clock or whatever it may be? And then after that is the part that where you really see the affirmation start coming together. And that's with the application of the affirmation. It's not enough to just say, hey, I want to be Garfield or Unc is a better person today. What application goes into me being a better person every day? So again, one thing that I want to leave you with is the affirmation process. You know what I mean? Is one is to think about the affirmation that you may want to incorporate into your life. The next step would be the application of um or the saying of the time frame that you're going to say the affirmation, and then after that the application of the affirmation. I would do a fourth step, and then we go back and revisit self-reflection on how the affirmation is coming along and stuff like this. But for today, I'll just leave it at those three, and four would be a bonus. That's it. That's my actionable advice for today.
I don't have any.
Nope.
Yeah,
I ain't even mad at it.
I don't have any, man. I think
Uh-huh.
go back and look at the video. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's mine. Go back and look at the video. Look at it multiple times. Process it, digest it. Ask
Mhm.
yourself a lot of questions. as you go through this video because I think it's a lot in here for everybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you got more degrees than a thermometer. You ain't that good. So
Yep.
go back and look at it. Like I'm gonna even go back and look at it, even though I was a participant in the show. Like it doesn't really matter. Like I think we can continue to learn more about ourselves. When we get to the point where we think no one can teach us something about me, very dangerous space to be in, my friend.
Very, very.
Yeah. So as always, greatly appreciate you, man.
Mhm.
Greatly appreciate the value that you brought to the show. Greatly appreciate you guys in the comment section. You guys are amazing. We greatly appreciate you. And like I told you, you're a functional part of the show, so we appreciate you. So that said, listen, y'all let the best versions of yourself be a blessing to somebody else, and we'll see you again next week.